Hello and welcome back to Concealed. In a shocking series of events, two powerful figures from different industries, former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, have been accused of running disturbing operations that allegedly exploited vulnerable young individuals. The allegations against both men involve coercion, manipulation, and trafficking, painting a dark picture of what happens behind closed doors in the worlds of fashion and entertainment. The charges against Jeffries and Combs have sparked intense public scrutiny, raising questions about power dynamics, the culture of silence in elite circles, and whether justice will truly be served. As more victims come forward, the cases appear to be more of a larger part of a systemic issue, one that has persisted for decades within industries built on glamour and exclusivity. Mike Jeffries, the dark side of Abercrombie and Fitch. Mike Jeffries was the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch from the 1990s to 2014, a period during which the brand became synonymous with youthful beauty and exclusivity and preppy American fashion. However, while the company outwardly promoted the image of wholesome attractiveness, disturbing allegations suggest that behind the scenes, Jeffries was involved in a sophisticated trafficking operation targeting younger male models. Federal prosecutors recently announced that Jeffries and his partner, Matthew Smith, along with a recruiter named James Jacobson, had been engaging in sex trafficking and interstate prostitution for years. The indictment alleges that Jeffries and Smith would lure young men with promises of lucrative modeling contracts, only to trap them in exploitative and abusive situations. The scheme, according to reports, was highly organized and secretive. Victims were approached by recruiters who offered them career opportunities, flown to lavish locations such as Jeffries' Hamptons mansion, Los Angeles properties, and even international destinations like England, France, and Morocco, forced to hand over their phones and wallets, preventing them from documenting anything or seeking help, required to sign non-disclosure agreements before attending exclusive events, administered alcohol, muscle relaxants, and other drugs, sometimes against their will, to lower their resistance to unwanted advances. Victims speak out. One of the first victims to break the silence was David Bradbury, a former aspiring model. He recounted how he was promised an opportunity that could launch his career, only to find himself coerced into unwanted acts. He described feeling trapped and closely monitored, unable to leave the events at will. Many of the young men targeted were financially vulnerable, a fact that Jeffries and his team allegedly exploited. Victims were often paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, but these payments felt more like hush money rather than legitimate compensation. Some victims later admitted that they felt complicit, fearing that accepting the money would make it harder for them to seek justice. A culture of fear and intimidation. The indictment further reveals that Jeffries' security team was used to intimidate and silence victims who tried to come forward. The operation reportedly involved highly trained security personnel who would surveil and threaten individuals to ensure their compliance. This system of control and secrecy allowed the alleged abuse to continue unchecked for years. Jeffries, who had largely faded from the public eye after stepping down as CEO, is now out on a $10 million bond for the legal proceedings to unfold. However, investigators believe that there may be many more victims who have yet to come forward, fearing retaliation or public scrutiny. Sean Diddy Combs, the allegations of trafficking and a secret tunnel network. While Jeffries' alleged crimes took place within the fashion industry, similar accusations have been levied against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, one of the biggest names in hip-hop and entertainment. Diddy, who built an empire in the 1990s and 2000s, is now facing allegations of trafficking, sexual exploitation, and racketeering. Recent reports suggest that federal investigators raided Diddy's properties and uncovered a hidden underground tunnel system beneath his mansion. These tunnels were allegedly used to transport individuals discreetly, particularly to high-profile parties known as freak-offs, which were allegedly central to Diddy's exploitation network. The secret tunnels and their sinister purpose. According to sources close to the investigation, the tunnels were designed to facilitate secretive and illicit activities. The existence of these tunnels raises serious concerns, as they could have been used to move people in and out to the premises unnoticed, allowing trafficked individuals to be transported without suspicion, bypass security cameras and law enforcement detection, making it difficult to track movements, provide a means of escape for Diddy or his associates in the event of a police raid. Victims' accounts of Diddy's exploitation network. One of the most disturbing allegations against Diddy came from a victim who claimed to have been locked in a cage alongside young black and brown children at one of Diddy's parties. The individual described the experience as terrifying and dehumanizing, with the children appearing to be non-English speakers. Multiple lawsuits also surfaced, including an anonymous aspiring rapper who claimed that in 2015, Diddy lured him into a nightclub, drugged him, and also sexually assaulted him under the pretense of offering a record deal. A lawsuit involving a man who was allegedly raped by Diddy in 2012, when he was just 17. He stated that he stayed silent out of fear and shame given Diddy's influence. Connections between Diddy and Mike Jeffries. The parallels between Diddy and Jeffries' cases have led many to speculate that their networks may be connected. The use of wealth, power, and promises of success to lure victims. A tightly controlled environment where individuals were unable to leave freely. The administration of drugs to lower inhibitions and incapacitate victims. A system of intimidation. Some believe that Diddy may be cooperating with authorities in order to secure a plea deal, potentially providing information to other powerful figures involved in similar crimes. The bigger picture, exploitation in fashion and entertainment. While the allegations against Jeffries and Diddy are disturbing, they are not isolated accidents. These cases shed light on a larger system of exploitation that has thrived in elite entertainment and fashion circles for decades. The casting couch culture in Hollywood has long been an open secret, where aspiring actors and models are expected to provide sexual favors in exchange for career opportunities. The Epstein case revealed a global network of trafficking involving high-profile figures. The Me Too movement exposed how powerful men, from Harvey Weinstein to Jeffrey Epstein, use their influence to exploit vulnerable individuals. Will justice be served? As these cases unfold, the question remains, will justice be served? Diddy remains in custody facing multiple charges, while Jeffries is currently out on bail. However, given the history and wealth of powerful individuals evading punishment, and many fear that both men may ultimately escape full accountability. For the survivors, the legal battles are only part of the journey. Many are still grappling with the psychological trauma and lasting impacts of their experiences. Conclusion: a moment of reckoning. These cases are more than just scandals. They're a wake-up call. They highlight the urgent need for systemic change to prevent similar abuses in the future. Whether through stronger legal protection for victims, more transparent industry practices, or greater accountability for those in power, it's clear that a reckoning is long overdue. The world is watching. Will these powerful figures be held accountable, or will history repeat itself?